Welcome back. We've been talking about this all morning.
We have.
Parents under pressure to pack their little ones healthier lunchboxes after a Victorian study revealed kids get nearly half their energy from high sugar snacks.
So it got us thinking, furiously, is it really fair to shame parents for unhealthy lunchbox choices? So we put the question to you at home. Here's what you had to say. So Erin says, a treat doesn't really hurt them, but a full-blown fast food lunch would be a no.
Ben says, sure, you can pack healthy choices in the lunchbox, but most kids will not even touch it.
That's true.
Cost of living, not everyone can afford the healthy choice. Good
Pesky
point.
kids. And Tammy says, it's no one's business what a kid has in their lunchbox. As long as they have food for the day, who cares what it is?
All right, so for more on this, let's bring in nutritionist and exercise scientist Amelia Phillips. In Sydney, Amelia, the people have spoken.
Yeah.
This is a very divisive issue. We know kids need to balance healthiness with food they enjoy. So how do you strike the right balance?
Yes. Look, such interesting and important research coming out of Deakin University. And it really does shine a light when we're seeing that almost half the daily energy needs of our kids is coming from this unhealthy, ultra-processed foods. And although we want to strike a balance, we do have to realise that this is having some health implications on our kids. Things like unhealthy weight gain, increases in blood pressure in children, increases in unhealthy cholesterol. So we can't ignore that. But I'm a mum of 4. I've got 4 primary school aged kids. I see the lunchboxes come home and, you know, all that healthy food not getting touched. So it is important to strike that balance, but I'm going to say that it is a fight worth having with your kids, and also that it's really unfair when we see headlines saying things like lunchbox laziness, because it's not the parents' fault that this, you know, that this is happening. And there are lots of reasons why we're seeing these unhealthy foods come through. Laziness is at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, I also reckon there's a bit of confusion, right? So, I mean, we're seeing in all of our overlay for everyone at home the vision of the junk food.
Yes.
And we all know that's
Chips
junk
and
food.
stuff, yeah.
But my issue is with some of the way that stuff is packaged these days. It's packaged as so-called healthy food. So you think as a parent that's a quick and easy way to package up, put it in a lunchbox, and send your kids off because it's going to be fine. But actually some of the hidden stuff in there is a real problem.
You are so right, and food labelling has really gotten out of control, where you're having these headlines like high in protein, you know, or gluten-free, and so you straight away assume that that means healthy. But pretty much one thing to recognise, if something is packaged and it's on the shelf at Woolies, it usually has a shelf life of 2 years. And for something to have a shelf life of 2 years, it needs to be packed with some pretty nasty things. Now, it's fine. I love those comments that you popped up earlier, and a snack here and there is absolutely fine. But as a parent, we want to look at the pattern. So if you sit there and you do a little bit of an audit and you go, well, actually, probably in the last 24 hours, my kid's food intake, 50% of it has come from a packet. Well, then as a parent, you go, okay, I probably just need to pull that back a little bit. I'm not talking about an overhaul. You don't need to, you know, grow your own veggies in the backyard, although that would be fantastic. But it's just about looking at that overall pattern and going, well, where can we dial down those packaged foods that have a really long shelf life and replace it with more whole foods?
One of the things that came up as well, and this is an issue facing a lot of families in Australia, is the cost, right? I mean, I remember when we were kids, I was one of 3 girls. My parents, we used to shop at Franklin's. I don't know if Franklin's is still a thing, but that was like a, you know, a cut price supermarket, right, where you would find some of those cheaper brands. Does that make life a little bit easier for parents?
Look, cost of living and time pressure is 2 massive issues that we see amongst parents. And that's why I get really frustrated when people use words like laziness, because this is real. But do know, you kind of think, well, you know, what's a $7 lunch order every day? But actually that really does add up over time. And if you've got multiple children. So what you'll find is definitely packing the food from home and doing more of those bulk orders will bring your price down. Even though, you know, you see your expensive shopping bill at the end of the week, it's still, if you divide it out. I've done this exercise before, and you'll see it's usually at around $3.50 to $4 per lunch, which is much cheaper than, you know, what you'd get through
tuck shop meal.
ordering at the tuck shop.
Very good. That's great advice.
Yeah, thanks, Amelia.
Yeah. Well, look, and guys, like parents, you're all doing an amazing
Yeah.
job.
Thank you.
So stick at it and just have a look at the lunchbox. Maybe there's 1 or 2 things you could take out and swap with whole foods, and keep going, guys, because my kids are getting to that age now where they actually are starting to eat the whole food. So it does shift at some point.
It changes. Good advice.
Righto.
Very good.
Well, still to come, DC sits down with the